We know that this 2024 rookie wide receiver class is absolutely insane, especially when you have an all-world talent at the top like Marvin Harrison Jr. And because of all the hype that MHJ is getting, we are somehow undervaluing the wide receiver 2 in this class, Malik Nabers. In fact, there's a world where Malik Nabers is actually the wide receiver 1 in this class, which I know sounds crazy, but it's definitely true. Malik Nabers is that good, but he is very undervalued right now because of Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's just take a look at the stats. Harrison is listed at 6'4", 205 pounds, and is entering the NFL off 2 straight 1,200-yard and 14 touchdown seasons as the wide receiver 1 for Ohio State as both a sophomore and a junior. Nabers is listed at 6 foot 200 pounds and is also entering the NFL off 2 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And despite his 2022 season being lower than Harrison's 2022 season, Nabers' 2023 season was much gaudier numbers-wise, with almost 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns in 12 and a half games played, breaking LSU's record for most career receptions and receiving yards in just 3 seasons. And then you turn on the tape and Malik Nabers has everything that Marvin Harrison Jr. has, and perhaps even a little bit more. Marvin Harrison's strengths are his insane route running abilities, contested catch abilities, and some insane athleticism for being 6'4", including potentially being a sub 4.4 runner with insane quickness and burst. But then you watch Malik Nabers, and like I said, he has just about everything that Marvin Harrison Jr. has as well. Malik Nabers is also an exceptional route runner who can make contested catches and 50-50 balls along the sideline. His ball tracking is absolutely elite, which makes him a massive threat downfield, but he's also extremely dangerous in open field with the ability to break multiple tackles either through raw speed or elusiveness to generate a ton of yards after the catch, which is just an ability that Marvin Harrison does not have, as backed up by these charts here showing that Malik Nabers is at the top of the list among first-round receivers since 2020 in yards after catch per reception and forced missed tackles per reception, while Marvin Harrison Jr. is near or even at the bottom of the list in both of these areas. And this isn't a knock on Marvin Harrison, it's just a difference in play style and how each of these receivers win on the field. But I do think that this shows the potential that Malik Nabers could be a better fantasy wide receiver than Marvin Harrison Jr. over their careers, or at the very least, the two are just consistently finishing inside the top 10 every single year. Neither one of these receivers are the wide receiver 2 in this class, to be completely honest, but rather the wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1B. This is 2011 all over again, a class that saw AJ Green go 4th overall to the Cincinnati Bengals and then Julio Jones go 6th overall to the Atlanta Falcons. And guess what? Both of those receivers consistently finished inside the top 10 for a large majority of their careers. AJ Green had 4 top 10 seasons in his first 7 years, while Julio had a wide receiver 11 finish in year 2 and then rattled off 6 straight top 8 seasons from year 4 on. Both of them were absolutely phenomenal in their careers, and there really wasn't a difference in dynasty value between them until year 7 in the league, when they were both turning 29 to 30 years old. And that is the entire point of this whole video, to showcase that there really isn't a difference between the two receivers in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers, and it might actually be smart to go after Nabers in rookie drafts at a cheaper price than Marvin Harrison Jr. In fact, if you have the 101 or 1.02 in a 1-quarterback or superflex league and you are looking to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., you might want to look into what you can get to drop down and take Nabers instead, especially if you are rebuilding and you actually earned that 1.01 or 1.02 pick because your team isn't that good. In 1-quarterback leagues, this is a pretty straightforward move since Marvin Harrison Jr. is the 101 and Malik Nabers is the 1.02. And according to our trade analyzer, the difference between those two picks is roughly the equivalent of Chris Godwin or Josh Downs, or if someone really wants Marvin Harrison, you might be able to pull away a later first like the 110 or a 2025 first, or even a veteran player like a James Cook or George Pickens type. In Superflex leagues, this is a little bit more difficult because you have to navigate around the rookie quarterbacks, because Marvin Harrison himself could go 101 or 1.02, and then Malik Nabers can go anywhere from the 1.03 to the 1.05. I think the cleanest way to get Malik Nabers here would be to just go after the 1.03 and solidify him there, where you can get a player like Jaden Reed added on to drop down from 101 to 1.03, or again, a later first round pick or a 2025 first to get another rookie. If you're feeling a little bit more dangerous and willing to go to the 104, 105, if you think the picks above them are going to take Drake May or Jaden Daniels, then you could possibly swing trade in the 101 for the 1.04 and a player like Trey McBride, maybe a Nico Collins or DJ Moore type of receiver, or a more mid to late first like the 107 or 109 to potentially give you a rookie like a Brock Bowers, Rome Odunze, Troy Franklin kind of guy. I think those trades are worth doing to get Nabers plus for Marvin Harrison Jr., but also if Malik Nabers gets taken, then I'm not terribly sad at getting Drake May or Jaden Daniels there either if you got another great asset on top like McBride or Nico or Rome Odunze. On the flip side, I would be desperately trying to move up into the Malik Nabers tier of rookie picks if you're just outside, because to me, there is a steep drop off from Malik Nabers to Rome Odunze, Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, whoever else you want to put in that tier of receivers. But I don't think that drop off is being reflected in trade values right now. In fact, in one quarterback leagues, the difference between the 102 and the 103 is like a David Njoku, Quentin Johnston, or even Jerome Ford type of player, all of which I would be immediately doing to go up and get Malik Nabers rather than having Rome Odunze or Brock Bowers. Even in Superflex leagues, it's not that much more to go up from 1.06 to 1.03. You just have to add like a Deontay Johnson or an Alvin Kamara or even like a Terry McLaurin kind of player. And it's even cheaper than that to go from 106 to 104 or 105 if you want to roll the dice on Malik Nabers being there at one of those picks. This honestly is a very similar field to drafts last year, where it ended up actually being smart to trade down from Bijan Robinson to Jahmyr Gibbs, or go from JSN, Addison, Flowers up to Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm sure some of you had the intent of trading up for Jahmyr Gibbs, but then you ended up having to take CJ Stroud, which just sounds absolutely terrible right now if that happened to you. So unfortunate that you drafted CJ Stroud, but that's essentially what I'm trying to do here with Malik Nabers. I'm trying to get into him before everyone else catches on that Malik Nabers is basically just as good as Marvin Harrison Jr.